Prose fiction writers can learn a lot about their craft from reading poetry. Here's one of my favorite poems and some of the best lessons about writing I learned from it. Enjoy.
Today we're going to do a close reading of one of Whitman's much shorter poems, a little bit less well known, and we'll see what we can learn as writers, particularly as fiction prose writers. Of course, if poets follow me, you too. Do we learn from reading this poem? Without further ado, here is When I Heard the Learned Astronomer by Walt Whitman. When I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I sitting heard the astronomer where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room, how soon unaccountable I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding I wandered off by myself, in the mystical moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars. So some things to note. Well, I always have my literature students start off with noting the structure of the poem. So we see that there's no rhyme or meter, right? We can tell it's free verse. We can tell by the line breaks and everything, and by the way it reads. It certainly has rhythm. It definitely does some unusual things with language that you don't often see in prose, but still, it's certainly not what we would consider a formal poem. Second is that it is a narrative poem. Not all poems are. Plenty of them are not. But this one tells a story. And we can kind of follow the story from beginning to end. It's not a very complicated story, but it does tell a story of human change. There is an arc in there. It doesn't need to be a radical transformation, but the character definitely goes through a change within the course of the story, and kind of that develops the theme, at least one of the themes, being delivered by the poem at the end there. We can even follow Aristotle's Poetics and divide this into 3 acts. The first act is the longest, kind of an unusual way to structure things, but the first act entirely takes place within the lecture room, and the entire inciting incident is probably everything that's going on within that lecture room. And then him crossing the threshold into Act 2 is when he rises and leaves and glides out by himself, leading into Act 3, the climax and resolution, when he looks up in perfect silence at the stars. Third thing to note is the 3 major shifts that we see. Shifts of focus and shifts of tone or attitude that come through within this poem. You can probably find a bunch of them, but there's 3 definitely to note. The first is when that repetition is broken. We have when I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures, when I was shown the charts and diagrams, when I sitting heard the astronomer, when I, we have this kind of cadence being built up, which has a soporific effect almost. But we're immediately woken up when, boom, that's broken. How soon unaccountable I became tired and sick. A much shorter line, and also a line with vivid imagery that gives us our first emotional connection from the narrator. Because prior to that, he's just been kind of analytically, clinically telling us what's been going on, kind of a reporting tone. And then we have a big tone shift here, where he's becoming tired and sick. He's not having it anymore, and that's shown through the structure, these shorter lines, and lack of repetition suddenly, and then, of course, the actual content himself, tired and sick. Also notice within this shift, the cadence shift, there's also a shift of focus from the lecturer within the lecture room to himself. He brings the focus back to himself now, how he is feeling. And then there's one more shift. And this time it's away from him, so there's a shift in focus away from him, and a shift in attitude. He's no longer tired and sick, as he looks up in the mystical moist night air, in perfect silence at the stars. We have a complete shift in attitude and mood at that point. The entire mood of the poem changes. Well, the fourth thing to note, and this is following right off of those 3 shifts, following right off of that recognition of story structure within this poem, is the setup, the payoff, and the ironic juxtaposition. All of those things I talked about in my very first video on this channel about what the secrets of story are. It's that. All those combined establish the thematic ideas, these 2 ways of looking at the stars. You can learn all you need to know about a thing, all you need to know about a topic within the lecture room with a professor and a book in front of you. You can learn everything there is to know about the stars and never actually look at the stars. It's a very different experience to actually go out and look at the stars and experience seeing the stars versus just talking about them. And of course, you can look at the stars without knowing anything about them. We did for centuries. So it's not really privileging one view of the stars over the other, but rather showing us that our view of the universe is incomplete if we only look at it through one lens. We have to look at it through the subjective experiential lens, the existential lens at the end of the poem, as well as through the analytical, clinical, scientific lens that's delivered in the first part of the poem. It's only when those two are combined that we have a complete picture of what the universe is, and, of course, ourselves within that universe. Obviously, I'm going down into the literature teacher weeds here. You don't need to analyze for theme so much when you're doing your own close readings, but recognizing what the theme is and how the writer creates that theme can help you understand how to create and deliver themes within your own writing. Notice Whitman is not preaching here. It doesn't sound like a sermon. He's not trying to hammer a theme down our throats.
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
He's letting us feel it and experience it for ourselves and come to our own conclusions about it. What I just gave you is kind of my conclusion about the theme of the poem, but yours may be different. Many people's may be different. That's okay. There's not just one right way to possibly read the poem. There's all sorts of different meanings it can have for various readers. That's kind of the literary aspect of it. But from a writer's perspective, how do we create that complexity? How do we build those ideas, and especially those contrasting ideas within the reader's mind that lead to all this stuff to think about and talk about afterwards? Of course, that's number 5 to note, is the use of syntax and diction, the word choices and their arrangement, the way those words are arranged on the page.
Hope you enjoyed that lesson on my favorite poem. What is your favorite poem, and what has it taught you about writing? Leave that in the comments below, and like the video and subscribe to the channel while you're down there, and consider clicking the join button and becoming a member and supporting me on the journey and getting some cool stuff in the process. I would really appreciate it. Thanks to 1,000,000 to my current members, and until next time, be poetic, my friends. Good luck and good writing. Peace.